Yeah, I'm streaming. Okay. We're gonna do VITA CARNIS. We were at, what were we at last time? The hosts.
The host of influence. The host of influence, more commonly referred to as the host, has its name derived from a host who invites guests to an event. Not to be confused with a host, a harborer of parasites or disease. The host is a semi-humanoid looking organism. It has the structure of a head, torso, and arms. Other than this, it shares no other characteristics. The lower half of the host is comprised of a mass of fibrous tissue and tendrils that burrow into the ground to hold the host in place. Instead of skin, the host is covered in muscular tissue fibers, tendons, and veins. In some parts of the body are covered in a meaty plate, used to cover any large exposed areas, but allowing movement. The host's head has a smooth surface where the face should be, attached to a crooked neck, which houses a slit in the front used for feeding. On the host's back is a mound of pores. Protruding from these pores are hollow, hair-like structures, extending outwards. These hairs are barrels that release spores produced within host's body by being fired into the air. These spores are hazardous, so keep clear of them at all costs. Luckily, the host is rare, only found in North America. Obtaining info about the host is a very risky and daunting task. This is because of their rarity and of how dangerous it is to be up close to one. The spores released by a host is very dangerous when inhaled. A host will release a cloud of spores into the air, which will be picked up by wind and carried great distances. If an organism inhales the spores, the particles will find their way into the organism's brain and infect them. An infected organism will show no symptoms of infection right away, but a couple hours after infection the infected organism's behavior and thought process will change. The first symptoms that appear are restlessness, sluggish movement, numbness of joints, and lack of coordination. Then more serious symptoms appear over time. These include dizziness, migraines, impaired speech, and trembles. If you, or someone you know show these symptoms, contact poison control or emergency services. After a total of 6 to 7 hours after infection, the organism will cease all activities they were previously doing and begin to walk. The direction the infected will walk is towards the host whose spores have been inhaled by the infected individual. If the infected makes their way to the host, they will kneel down in front of it, expose their vital organs, and the host will promptly gut and remove those organs. The host will consume them and discard the leftover scraps. However, if an infected organism doesn't reach the host within a 36-hour span or is treated for their infection, the effects will wear off and return back to normal. If a host is unable to find prey or doesn't like its current location, it will unroot itself and move to a new location. Their scarce numbers and the hazard of being around one makes getting info about the host very daunting. All you need to currently know is that the host is extremely dangerous and should be avoided at all costs. Next, the monoliths.
So the spores basically, the host basically just lets out spores to people's, to, I don't know, possess people, kinda, and, rip their, then they go to him and then rip out their, organs.
The monoliths. The monolith is a very new creature, only showing up in June of 1972, in the area of. There are only 7 monoliths, all of them located in a circular position, 1.5 kilometers in diameter. This ring of monoliths surrounds the monolith. Other than this, it shares no other characteristics. The lower half of the host is comprised of a mass of fibrous tissue and tendrils that burrow into the ground to hold the host in place. Instead of skin, the host is covered in muscular tissue fibers, tendons, and veins.
Actually, since we already technically heard it, that was just an accident. Let's just go to the monoliths.
The monoliths. The monolith is a very new creature, only showing up in June of 1972, in the area of. There are only 7 monoliths, all of them located in a circular position, 1.5 kilometers in diameter. This ring of monoliths surrounds. The monolith is a Titanic-sized being, measuring roughly 120 meters in height. Each monolith has 2 trunk legs that are firmly embedded underground. The legs connect to a torso. The creature itself is made of hundreds of thousands of meaty strands, tightly woven together to form the structure. These strands end at the neck, fusing into a solid mass of hardened flesh in the shape of an upside-down triangle, with a hole in its center. On each side of the monolith where arms would be, there are dozens of long, rope-like appendages. These reach just barely to the ground. At the creature's feet, the strands go deep into the earth and extend horizontally a decent distance away. What the monoliths do is simply stand and do nothing. The only activity documented that the monoliths have done was in. During this period, they were extremely aggressive. When the group of were making their way to the city, the monolith that they had passes roared a deep bellow and swung its appendages at the team, completely wiping them out. When military vehicles were dispatched, once they got close enough top the monolith, it roared another call, this time releasing an EMP blast, completely knocking the vehicles out in the vicinity. Finally, long-distance rockets were fired and struck the creature. Although damaged, it regenerated at great speed, and resumed its stance unscathed. Eventually, the area has been fenced off and is now restricted to all. Ever since, the monolith stands silently, now only a grand spectacle of awe and mystery, only adding more questions to these meat beings. And finally, the last creature on this list is marvelous and majestic world that exists today. It's as extraordinary to have such strange and mysterious beings appear all around us. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery of the lives of these living meat creatures.
Singularity.
The singularity is an orb comprised of a dark-colored mineral with hints of luminous colors within its core. The singularity is estimated to be 1 meter in diameter. The orb has several unique qualities that are not well understood. The singularity typically can be found suspended in air by an unseen force. There are also a variety of readings that have been documented coming from the orb itself. Various things like magnetic fields, energy signatures, and other
marvelous and majestic world that exists today, it's as extraordinary to have such to these meat beings. And finally, the last creature on this list is exists today. It's as extraordinary to have such strange and mysterious beings appear all around us. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery of the lives of these living meat creatures.
Okay, so VITA CARNIS. Is there any more episodes? There's New Beginnings. Let's see. Yeah, there's this one. Let me go to his YouTube. There's 21 videos.
I have to finish this paper. I'm swamped. No one told me college would be so damp.
Just get Grammarly.
This could be the greatest discovery of the age.
Baby, let this feeling in.
Have any information of the whereabouts of
We make
Be making a dish that has recently gained a fair amount of popularity. Today's dish will be a cheesy crawl penne. To start off, these will be the ingredients you will need. 3 cups of penne pasta. Roughly 3 cups worth of fresh crawl. Try to get a variety of sizes when you buy yours, or when you harvest them yourself. 1 cup of cheese. Half a cup of green onion. 1 teaspoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of Cajun spice. 2 tablespoons of parsley. 1 tablespoon of dill. 1 tablespoon of garlic. A pinch of pepper. And finally, the most crucial ingredient. Nutrier Company's newly released Flavor Enhancer. To bring out the richness of flavors within each and every meal. First, get a medium-sized pot and fill half of it with water. Add a pinch of salt, which is used to help the pot come to a boil faster and help flavor the pasta. Then, set aside to boil. Grab your crawl and a sharp knife. Begin to cut the meat into a rough mince. Crawl is soft on the outside, but the interior has a surprising sturdiness. Then, gather the meat and set aside. Mince the green onion into rough segments. Take this mince and set aside as well. Next, grab your skillet and preheat with some oil. Take your minced crawl and spread it evenly across the skillet. Stir occasionally until crisp and brown. As your water reaches a boil, add your penne and stir occasionally. Cook until soft. At this time, your crawl will be brown and crisp. Add your minced green onion and then the spices. Mix well. Once your pasta is finished cooking, strain it. Lay your cooked penne evenly into your dish.
Whoa, what was that? What's the guy wearing? That's a gas mask.
Then add the crawl topping. Sprinkle a generous amount of cheese along the still warm crawl for it to melt. At this point, finish preparing the dish with your flavor enhancer, but allow your dish to cool to a temperature below 60 degrees Celsius, or else the enhancer will not work. And now, you may serve and enjoy.
Many people get pets for companionship. They form bonds and grow relationships with these animals even to the point of them being considered a part of the family. Most people get dogs or cats, but maybe you want something more interesting. Then, you may want to get yourself a trimming. These lumps of meat have grown a reputation to be a loving companion for many people in the recent months. Although, most people may not know the proper ways to care for them. Today, we will be showing you how you can care for your pet trimming. Taking care of a trimming is fairly easy, but this is no reason to slack off. They are living things and do require maintenance. The first thing to keep in mind when keeping a trimming is the temperature of your home. While trimmings are resilient to both high and low conditions, you want to keep your base temperature near room temp, maybe slightly cooler. That being said, trimmings prefer warmer areas to nest. A simple setup you may use is a box with some blankets on the inside. Make sure there is enough for your trimming to cover itself. And now, you have a comfy bed for your buddy. Next, you want to give your trimming the best diet possible. Trimmings are not picky eaters, and will eat anything you give them. To keep your trimming healthy and strong, a diet of dry cat or dog food that is high in protein, provided 2 times a day, is best. As a treat, you may give your trimming any scraps of your food. Things like apple cores, banana peels, or eggshells are a perfect snack. A thing to remember is trimmings are nocturnal and make plenty of noise. to prevent you from having sleepless nights, try to give your trimmings first meal in the late morning or afternoon. This helps them be active during these times instead. Another thing to consider if you want a pet trimming is where they will be living. Your home should have enough space for your trimming to roam around, as well as access to the outdoors, like a backyard. If not, be sure to take your trimmings on regular walks. This gives your trimming the exercise they need, as well as allowing them to meet other trimmings. Trimmings are a social creature and need to interact with others of their kind, like how they do in the wild. When it comes to entertainment, trimmings are not the most active and aren't the best at fetch or tug of war. But here are other ways to keep your trimming entertained. Some toys that trimmings like are little items they can push, around, pull, or carry. Trimmings also enjoy things that you enjoy as well, like watching the television or listening to the radio. They love seeing and listening to all the funny things coming from the devices. After a long day, your trimming might be dirty and need a wash. To clean them, start your bath with a gentle warm water, mixed with a bit of hand or body wash. Gently scrub the trimming's feet, armpits, belly, and neck fold. Remember to be careful around their face, and avoid getting soap in their eyes, nose, and mouth. Gently pat dry with a towel when done. Now your buddy is all clean. And lastly, as said before, trimmings are social creatures, so be sure to give them plenty of affection. They love receiving pats, scratches, and pets. They also love to sit with you and cuddle. Since they communicate with each other in the wild, it is best to replicate this behavior with them as well. Simply talking to them is plenty enough. You can talk about your day, if anything interesting happened at work, if you are working on any new recipes, or talk about the weather. Trimmings are very good listeners and love to be involved. With all of these in mind, you are now well equipped to have a trimming become a part of the family. Do things right, and you will have a companion for a long while.
Whatever.
In the year of 1945, with the war finally ended, the cleanup process had started. During routine sweep of an underground train tunnel, the cleanup crew made a grotesque discovery. Found completely filling the tunnel was a meaty wall, and in the center of the mass was an opening with several skulls surrounding it. Closer inspection of the blockage revealed that the mass was actually an extremely engorged meat snake. Its impeccable size had blocked off the entirety of the tunnel's path. There was many strange things with this creature. First was the coloration. A typical meat snake's color is bright reds and light browns. This particular meat snake was a very deep maroon. Another strange thing about it was its behavior. This creature barely moved. Meat snakes are normally sluggish and encumbersome, but the specimen discovered seemed to lack even basic motor functions. Its behavior was that of a plant's, stationary, with only minor movements within. One would assume it was dead. The reason the meat snake may act this way may be because it was completely lodged in place and minimized movements to conserve energy. But how would it have gotten this deep into the tunnel in the first place? And by the looks of weathering, it had been in there for quite some time. So how did it get so large? The answer was discovered by a different cleaning crew, who found the other end of the tunnel. They followed it until it met with the other end of the meat snake. Alongside it was a huge pile of carcass. This meat snake's skin also displayed great amounts of resilience. It took several days of cutting to even obtain a sample. Here, you can see the clear difference between this meat snake specimen versus a normal meat snake's membrane. Testing on the sample showed that it had great immunity to damage. It tolerated extreme freezing temperatures, extreme heat temperatures, and even high doses of radiation. It is a wonder how such durability can occur in an organic creature. Another strange phenomenon is the smell off the skin. Normally, it would have a sour smell of rotting flesh. But the specimen displayed a rather pleasant smell, like that of cooking scrambled eggs. Meat snake was later discovered to be missing by unknown survivors. How the meat snake grew in size was discovered to be
As of the time of this video's release, we have been facing a concerning increase of missing persons and fatalities on a global scale. The reason for this is because we are under attack. We have discovered that there has been a significant growth of mimic populations, which is threatening public safety. National leaders have released this instructional recording to teach you on how to defend yourself. Here is what you need to know about the threat. Mimics are humanoid, intelligent predators that are highly adaptive and feed solely on human prey. Mimics gain information on people by watching their daily lives and pick to hunt people when they are most vulnerable. The most common times a mimic will attack is when you are asleep, out walking alone, or in a cornered position. Mimics are cautious and calculative creatures, taking precautions to ensure a successful hunt. They utilize various tactics to capture a person by surprise. One of the more well-known tactics is hiding itself inside of furniture, to blend into its environment. Common objects that mimics can hide inside are sofas, recliners, wardrobes, ottomans, and other places a mimic can comfortably wait. Mimics are able to contort their body in ways that allow them to fit inside smaller places. They also use it to expand their body, making themselves appear larger for intimidation. Another method mimics use to blend in is their ability to put on and wear clothing. Mimics put on layers of shirts, pants, and jackets to hide their bright red skin and blend into densely populated areas. In very rare cases, mimics can develop and grow to look very similar to human beings. Pairing this with clothing, it can be very hard to tell the difference between a mimic and a person right away. If you are unsure if a person is a mimic, look out for key features that may reveal their true form. Look for abnormal facial features, like large, bulbous eyes, flat noses, wide mouths and an uncanny smile, and clammy skin. Also pay attention to other exposed body parts like hands. Mimic people will have long fingers with no fingernails. If you are unable to see their face or hands, watch their walking pattern. Mimics' legs are long and hunched. Their walking will be unusual and irregular. Here is what you do if you are met with a mimic. If it stands before you, do not panic. Stand your ground and try to appear larger. Wave your hands and make plenty of noise. Maintain eye contact. A mimic will hesitate to attack a potential threat. If you are armed with a weapon, aim for the head or legs. These are the best areas to hit to immobilize the threat. Fight back and don't let it get a hold on you. If you find a mimic that hasn't discovered you yet, stay out of sight. Call the authorities and alert them of your location. Stay where you are to avoid startling the mimic. If the mimic gives chase, run. Try to get somewhere out of sight and hide. Do not leave the area. Officials will need to locate you to help. Stay low and stay quiet. With the information you have learned, use it well, and stay safe.
Got it. Let's see. Yep, it's working.
Hey, can we get a move on?
1 sec. Yeah. Okay. Hello.
I thought you only had 30 minutes of tape on that.
I know, but just gotta see how it works. Like,
Yeah, well,
I've never got to use one of these.
Night.
I'll mute real quick and
Too bad. You were the only person who could film with me, so you're gonna have to put up with it.
Fine.
Screw you. Screw you.
Screw you.
It's still way too dark. 1 sec. There we go. Hello.
It's cold.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. You got some light now. Oh, look at that over there. You can't see anything unless I like point directly over there. Like, nope, can't see nothing.
Are you sure we should be out this late?
Fine. I'll cook you stuff when we get home. Don't worry.
I'm hungry.
Too bad. Wait. Ah, shit. Right, but it still turns off and on randomly for some reason. Like, it's the best thing I could get my hands on, though. Turning on and off, but it's the only thing that they would give me. It works, though. I just gotta watch.
This is gnarly.
It's not my fault this guy lives in a fucking dump. We're almost there. We just gotta get through the woods. You see it, though? Hopefully I show up on camera, though. Hopefully there are lights out there. Like, people still live there, right? Can't be that bad.
Pretty dark for me.
But it was just one guy. I don't know why. Like, why would they get rid of everything? Dogs barking are never a good sign.
No.
The sky looks nice. This thing can't capture it. I can barely capture the ground in front of me.
So, what are we doing out here exactly?
Well, supposedly they found some guy. Like, it was like a grody scene. Like, it was disgusting. Like they had to get rid of the trailer he was in, and then like they didn't let anyone nearby, and it was like this big conspiracy. So I'm filming that. Hopefully I get a good mark for it. There we go, we're getting close. Oh, it's bush. Careful.
You know where we're going?
Yeah, we're almost there. We're on the road. We're right next to it. Like, it's literally up there.
Okay.
Come on. It's not too late yet.
Hungry.
You said that already.
Yeah? I'm still hungry.
Soon, okay? We're almost there. It'll be like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay? We're on the road. We're almost there. We just got past the tree line and make the way to the trailer park. Then we can go home. Okay?
Okay.
I don't want to be out here either. It's a weird place. See, we're right here. You go ahead. You can't see a thing.
Where am I even going?
Just up here. There should be a path. Right there, yeah, right here.
Okay.
See, I found the path. We're all good. think this way. Yo, look at this. I didn't see this on my way over here last time. It's cool. Like, we could get a shot of this in, like, atmosphere, you know?
It just looks like tetanus to me.
Hold till... One sec, let me get a good lighting on that. There we go. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. Hey, look, there's, like, old stuff here as well. Anyways. We're on the flat part now. Yeah, we're close. The trailer should be right up ahead. This is where everyone was. There's no one here now, though. Not a single building in sight. Except like way over there. But there's no one here. It's the strangest thing. This is the spot. Right here. Yeah. This thing. Okay. So you take the camera and the light. Point it at me, but don't point it in my eyes, please. Make sure. How do I look?
Like a barf bag.
Thanks. Okay, got my card. Cheers. Alright, give me a second. And let me do a little read. Okay. In the year 1980, a teenage boy was coming home from his trailer one late night. Although, when he arrived at home, he found a grisly scene. Detail Barar, his father, that he came home to, was found dead. The grisly scene lies before him. Police were called, and they came to investigate. Strange thing, though, they immediately closed off everything. No one was allowed near, but only a few witnesses saw what truly happened there. For some reason, the police were acting very weird and trying to keep everyone away and telling little information. And when the information was released to the public, they say it was a suicide. Although, the trailer and most people living nearby moved away pretty much immediately. Police say it was a suicide, but the witnesses that did catch an eye of what happened say the scene was much too grisly to be that. But police haven't come out about anything yet. So that's why I'm here to answer what truly happened. And that's it for now.
You said grizzly way too much.
What?
You said grizzly way too much.
Too much?
Yeah.
Okay, should I retry?
Sure.
Okay.
Pause.
That one turned out alright, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, why is it rolling? Did you catch that?
Oh.
30 minutes to film, and yet you screwed it. I needed someone to film. Alright. No hard feelings, okay?
Okay.
It's pretty scary out here. I know. I understand. Yeah, because, like, back there was the perfect time for a serial killer to just jump out and grab us, you know?
Cut it out. It's scary enough as is. Chris? Chris? Chris?
Where are you? Chris! Come on! This isn't funny! Chris! I just want to go home, come on! Fine, I guess I'm going home without you. I'm cold, tired, and hungry. If you want to stay out here and play games, you can. Chris? What are you doing? Chris, this isn't funny. Oh! God!
Why is it so loud? Is it over? Wait a minute. Flavor enhancer commercial. Wait a minute. All of the things have been ordered so far. Next would be this one. So first it was crawl, then it was trimming, and then the pet trimming thing, and then it was meat steak, and then the meat steak thing, and then it was the mimic thing, and then it was the harvester thing, and then it was the host, and this one's the flavor enhancer thing, and the host was my theory is the host is like the pores are the flavor enhancer.
Flavor. The most crucial component to enjoying a good meal. The way food tastes is what makes eating so pleasurable. But what if you could savor every little detail you could possibly want? That is why we, at Nutrier Co., have made it so that you may enjoy every single bite you take. With our product, the Flavor Enhancer, you can extract every last morsel of taste from your plate. With overwhelming demand for this essential product even since our start earlier this year, we have delivered what you wanted. Now introducing the Flavor Enhancer Deluxe. Now packaged in a larger size and modified recipe, there is now even more savory goodness to go around. Since our debut in mid-1990, the Flavor Enhancer has shown to be a major hit, with our product flying off the shelves. The Flavor Enhancer Deluxe will allow us to satisfy your growing, tasting needs. Now allowing you to add even more enhancer to your dinner, making your food even better to enjoy. The Flavor Enhancer Deluxe, available on shelves now. Nutrier Co., experience true savor.
These larger serving sizes make dining even more pleasant, now allowing more generous amounts of enhancer at a time. Flavor Enhancer Deluxe, now available in stores near you. Nutrier Co. Experience true savor.
Make your taste buds pop with the new deluxe size. Make tasting even more awesome.
Spoil your kids with this essential part of every meal. Nutrier Savor.
Flavor Enhancer Deluxe. Required for all meals, no matter how small it seems, just a little more. It is crucial to everyday eating.
You need the flavor enhancer to enjoy eating. You need the flavor enhancer.
Consume.
You need it.
You must need it.
You must.
Consume. You must consume. You must consume.
It's obviously a cult. That's obviously a cult. manipulate their hands.
What's up?
Hi, Jira. We brought you here today to let you know that we made the business.
Nutriarco is facing charges after numerous reports of sickness after consumption of their product. The flavor enhancer only statement made from the company so far are dismissing any issues with their product and is safe to issues and their product is safe to consume. The private organization of containment second research consult association society Carcass has been experiencing backlash from government agencies about cooperating and violation of the cooperation and violation of the newly introduced policies of the it's clear the private organization. Okay, consult. I just couldn't see it.
In the distant horizon, the group of monoliths stand vacant. Although closed off to outsiders, their stance can be observed well outside the perimeter. It is known to have hundreds of thousands of fibers that weave themselves deep underground, all connected in a grand mycelial network.
You might be confused as to why you received this package. This was left to you because we share a common goal. I'm aware that you...
The private investigation organization of containment and research consult associated. Oh yeah, we reread this.
Studied Carnis and researched their properties. I'm also aware that you received backlash for doing so. something isn't as it seems, and you know this too. Unexplained phenomena, countless casualties, missing persons, fatalities, and yet no proper action, and a notable silence about these affairs. People are afraid and confused. Why is nothing being done? Because they don't want us to.
Let me read that. A group of students released a nature documentary about the Carnis species, which was seized by authorities. The group, called the National Living Meat Research, had included various amounts of sensitive materials and defamation. Wait, there's some. Okay. Officials have arrested some of the suspects, while others outside the source are still at large. The students claimed that they were simply working on a project for what does that say? Can't see. For blank. And didn't know about the extra materials.
Us to know. We've been kept in the dark while those above us slither and miss the blind. They have slowly been building our minds and their schemes. But they've made one crucial error. Trails, crumbs, traces of information. I've collected these pieces and found their loose ends. This is why I've left this message to you. The document's included with the statement. It's all the information that I have gathered. Every continuity, every cover-up, every clue that I could find. They all lead here. Something has been going on these few years. Something big. Something they don't want us to know about. Here's where you come in. I don't have the power to change things, but you do. Alongside the documents are plans for a meeting one of great importance. You have the resources. With this information I've provided to you, I hope you can put a stop to all the scandals. I just hope it isn't too late.
That was Canada, but I spelled Canada wrong. Yep, it's Canada. There's an island here. That's an extra island.
The monoliths are truly an astonishing sight to behold.
The singularity.
I knew I was underwater. I just didn't realize I was this underwater. If you're stressed about your paper,
Mission brief. Three ground teams are tasked with infiltrating a previously abandoned mall titled Facility Zero, which is located in the restricted zone based on our info. The
mission will take place in 3 stages: infiltration, encirclement, and ambush. Primary objective is to capture the facility and seize the items of interest for extraction. Numerous armed guards are located within the facility. Avoid detection and keep up your guard.
Alpha team, in position.
Beta team, in position.
Gamma team, in position.
Copy. Beginning phase 1.
Eyes on the point. Clearing pathway now. Pathway cleared. Give it the green light.
Copy. Green light is a go. Begin phase 2 in advance.
Alpha team, copy. Beginning advance. All right, we're heading out. Move, move, move! Lights off. Come on. Move. Keep your distance. Single file. Halt! In position, awaiting green light. Eyes are secure. Turning blind. Lights green.
Copy. Green light is a go. Begin phase 2 in advance.
Electrical interference. Should we resume? Copy. Phase 3 is still a go. Preparing for breach.
Breach in 3, 2, 1. Breach.
Get down! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Get down! Get down! Put down your weapon! Get down! Put down! Put your hands up! Get down! Get down!
Okay, I saw something. It was like just.
Put your hands up! Get down!
Oh. It was YouTube IRL. So it's the colon slash T hyphen V T in capitals. Okay, so capital A is 0, capital A 0, D lowercase d K3K K3K U. Oh wait, it's the other way around.
The online pet store loved by millions is now in Canada. Get the brands they devour at prices you love.
Once upon a time, there was a distant kingdom. The kingdom was ruled by a royal family, a king, a queen, and a prince. The royal family were magical scholars who wanted to obtain knowledge and expand their kingdom and heighten their mystical abilities. They traveled land and sea to discover new places and learned what the new lands hold. Something traveled on one of their expeditions, and what does that say? Blanks, and a giant storm struck. It was so powerful it swayed the boat the royal family rode, and the prince knocks the prince off out and into the sea. I can't read it. After being stranded at sea, the young prince was eventually cast to an island injured. The prince stumbled his way into a nearby cave. He then used what magic he had to put himself into a healing. What does that say? There we go. A healing sleep. I cannot see that. Cannot see this. Outside the cave, during a time of hardship. What? I'm not reading them. Oh yeah, hardship. Lived the island critters. The critters were struggling, and during this hard time, there was barely any food to go around. They would go and gather whatever they could, but came back with less each day. I can't. Although one day the critters found the cave while searching for food. What does that say? Oh, that's why. Although one day they found the prince embraced in his healing sleep. The critters were heartstruck. What does that say? Something struck and enchanted by the prince's magic. Cannot read this. I can't. Okay. New beginnings. 2 more videos.
Today, something has happened within the restricted zone, where a large group of cultists have been apprehended. Several teams of military personnel have arrested some high-ranking cultists and have unmasked their identities to the public. Shockingly, several of these members are well-renowned politicians and high-ranking members of multiple governments across the globe.
Many documents have been released providing sufficient proof of the atrocities that were being committed. Some of these crimes include murder, kidnapping, torture, ritual sacrifice, and the list goes on.
The members are found guilty of deliberately providing false information to the public in an attempt to cause harm.
The New Trier Company has been found to have very significant ties with cultist activities and has been shut down. All New Trier products have been deemed hazardous for consumption.
Cultivation farms are facing pressure to shut down.
Public unrest grows as the New Trier cult case brings more crimes that were hidden away to light.
The people are outraged by how little was actually being done.
They demand that something be done to handle the Carnis species.
Riots appear in the streets as protests begin to turn aggressive.
Our leaders were plotting against us. Who we trust? What happens now?
Test chamber 1 now in use.
Welcome to Magister's Wonder Show.
I am the Magister, and get ready to explore all of the world's wonders. Today, we are learning about the circle of life.
Test report number 4. We still know very little about the nature of the entities. There are 7 singularities in total. Each singularity is roughly 1 meter in diameter. They are made of an unknown material, although it looks and feels very similar to glass. We are unable to sample it in fear of causing potential damage. The material is very dark in color, but has red shimmers of light swirling inside. There are some hints of other colors present, but is mostly dominated by the red. Each entity hovers above the ground in a stationary position, although they can be moved with relative ease. Our equipment can detect some subtle pulses of energy in rhythmic but random patterns. We don't know what they are. We don't know if it is breathing or communicating. We don't even truly know if they are even organic. This is nothing new, just confirming what we already know. Our first experiments didn't give any interesting leads. The most we got was some interference with electronics, especially when there is more than one kept close together. But the experiment we conducted showed extremely significant results. The experiment played out like this. In test chamber 1, a live cow was released into the chamber with V1 for an extended period. They were left together for 24 hours. The test showed minimal results from the entity and an increase in stress from the cow. Next, the body of a cow was put into the chamber with V1 for 24 hours. The results were extraordinary. Five hours after the whole body had been ingested, concentrations of crawl rapidly grew from several points from within the chamber. What this could mean, it rewrites everything we knew about the VITA CARNIS species.
Allow the crawl to grow out here. First, a young larva hatches from within its egg. It will roam around and find food to help it grow and grow. Once they are big enough, they transform into a pupa, and after some more time, they transform into an adult beetle. The adult beetle will go out into the world in search of food.
Audio log. Progress report for crawl samples. Cultivation has been successful. So far, we grew them with 3 specific environmental factors. 1 is our control group, 2 with access to additional nutrition sources, and 3 with exposure to radio signals. Group 1 grew on par with standard crawl samples. No distinct abnormalities. Group 2 grew at a faster pace than the control group, as expected. No distinct abnormalities. Group 3 grew against its normal pattern, weaving its way toward the radio. Once the device was claimed, it switched to usual growth patterns. Again, no distinct abnormalities. In conclusion, the samples that were grown in V1's test chamber don't seem to differ from others grown from other sources. Still, we will continue with more factors and further groups, just in case. There have been some developments in the propagation group. V1 samples have seemingly been able to produce nodules at a slightly quicker rate than wild samples. Control groups show that V1 samples begin node development a few days faster. More time will be needed to say for sure. As for the nodes themselves, there aren't any distinct abnormalities. We've successfully hatched a dozen Carnish juveniles, several trimmings, 2 meat snakes, and even 1 mimic. We will be sending them to the enclosures after everyone's reports get sent out. End log.
And then is ground into a fine mince and is now ready for the garden.
Audio log. Progress report for trimming colony. Significant progress in learning the social patterns of a group of trimmings we have been keeping together. A new batch of juveniles were added to the main colony at the beginning of the new progress report. They were accepted into the community immediately. No conflict or rejection observed. They did provide the circumstances to document more of their interactions. Trimmings communicate through a series of vocal cues. Colony members meeting the new batch with squeaks and squeals. They also are not afraid to show us when they are upset. Trimmings also use some physical displays as well. For example, trimmings do a chewing or chatter motion with their mouths when they are happy or interested in something. The experiment that we performed was to explore the extent of their communication skills. The test went like this. We took one of the trimmings and had them in place in a modified enclosure. A speaker would play 2 separate audio cues. A positive cue would play, followed by a treat, and a negative cue, followed by a small spray of cold water. We did several rounds of both audio cues to condition the trimming's response. After the test, the trimming was released back to its colony. And after a few hours, we tested how much the trimmings communicated. Another speaker was placed near the colony's enclosure, where we played the same audio cues. It is incredible to see how layered their social interactions can be. Although, we tried something a bit bizarre. We found out that a wild colony had settled around the facility recently. It was strange what we did. It was a long shot. We set up a radio device near the wild colony and near ours. We linked both devices up and played the cues.
There's many dangers out there in the world. There are many predators that would love to have beetles for a snack. And unfortunately, not all beetles make it. Yes, it is sad, but that's how the circle of life works. But look, one of the beetles has laid eggs. And once the beetle's eggs hatch, the beautiful cycle starts again, and life continues on.
Now only the most beautiful, only the most unique specimens will be moving forward.
There are lots of fossils hidden on the Earth, and plenty make their way into rivers and streams. You can look for them too.
Audio log. Progress report on the meat snake recreation project. From our previous report, the juvenile meat snake we selected was grown in a standard captivity cell until maturity. The specimen we had selected was now an acceptable size for the project to begin. The specimen was moved into restraints. Twice a day we fed it fresh meat, scraps, roadkill, making sure that it received the necessary materials like bones and organs to grow. 4 days into feeding, the specimen's mood mellowed out. The usual intimidation display was now a patient eagerness. It seems that the specimen now understands that we are feeding it. 11 days into feeding, the specimen has slowed down immensely. It has also been occasionally rejecting food. It looks like we have been overwhelming it, not giving it enough time to properly digest and implement the material. Feeding has been reduced to once a day, but with an increase of portion size. 19 days into feeding, the meat snake has almost shut down entirely. It no longer reacts to external factors. It still accepts food, but with assistance. A makeshift mechanism was made to help the feeding process. Favorable results have begun to show. The hue of the specimen's skin has been turning shades darker. Sampling period seems to be approaching sooner than expected. Day 21 into feeding. The specimen has reached all the required criteria to begin sampling. We managed to obtain a skin patch intervention. We began with cold resistance. The typical meat snake skin can hold its integrity up to negative 30 degrees Celsius. The specimen sample survived down to negative 100 degrees, even maintaining flexibility. Next, the heat resistance test. The sample was able to withstand impressive temperatures. We were only able to bring the temp up to 3,000 degrees Celsius before we had to bring in new equipment. We used some welding equipment and determined that the sample's limit was capped at around 5,000 degrees Celsius. Sample testing was interrupted by a peculiar event with the specimen. Personnel during the routine feeding found that the meat snake had escaped its restraints by performing mitosis. The two organisms were simply wandering the lab at the time. The project has been halted for now, and the two meat snakes have been moved back into their original enclosure. We are preparing more tests at the start of the new process report. End log.
your own sieve at home. The mesh will catch large debris, allowing smaller things to pass through. But you can add more layers with different mesh to catch more things.
Lovely contestants so far, but there can only be one winner. And this year's winner is Patty!
This is my audio report for this month's progress, albeit a little bit late by a few months.
Enjoying camping with your buddy? Do you know how the Samsung Neo QLED creates these great realistic...
Anyways, it's been a bit slow, but there have been some fascinating findings. I guess I'll start with the juveniles. Feisty fellas, already chock full of hunting instinct. Their hunting patterns are similar to other ambush predators. They will wait and then catch their prey with the element of surprise. They prefer to hunt prey smaller than themselves, stuff they can take down easily. But once they are older, they start getting a little cockier. But they have the killing technique to back it up. They usually aim for the throat or neck to deliver a kill as fast as possible. But once they metamorphosize into their adult form, it's harder to determine their patterns. The juveniles we do manage to get into their adult form don't last very long. They simply hide away, rejecting all food we provide. As it is well known, adults only eat human flesh. The adults we have all die to starvation. The best candidates for research are the ones we capture out in the wild. They last longer, most likely due to them already having food and nutrients in their systems. It's not something I dwell on too often. I am thankful for the ones they bring in for me. We got several adults, even a few humanoid ones. We are able to understand a bit of how they work before they eventually whittle away. The hunting tactics of the adult forms change drastically from their previous form. Hunting now takes much longer as they observe and watch their prey. They are very cautious, waiting for the best opportunity. They take advantage of anything they can to get an upper hand. Their most popular tactic nowadays is climbing inside of furniture. Freshly metamorphosed adults are roughly 160 centimeters in height, but can fold themselves tightly into small spaces. One was even found inside one of those old-fashioned mannequins. And older adults still fit exceptionally well in tight places. It's funny, we didn't even know they could do this until the late 70s. They weren't even called mimics then. They were called, butchers. They changed it because its name better matched the description of characters in some kids' board game. Anyways, the hunting tactics beyond this are confusing to say the least. All depictions of their patterns have been wrong in one way or another. Ever since that public announcement in '86, they keep changing it. In reality, it is almost completely random. Each case in the wild is different, and it's hard to determine why in captivity. Plus, human testing is a no-go, even though I volunteered myself. I feel so close to figuring it out. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. The next stages are even harder to... Wait, how long do these tapes have to be?
This one would have fallen through our first sift. There are plenty of other fun things you can find as well.
Oh no, my sieve isn't working.
Looks like there's a hole in your mesh. Make sure your mesh isn't damaged, or else something might slip through.
Personnel room 21.
What happened?
My leg's caught. It's bad. It's bad. I'm bleeding.
What do I do?
I can't reach.
What do I do?
Help me down, please. Please.
We need medical assistance in test chamber 1.
God.
Stay calm. Help is on the way. Just try to stay
Damn
strong.
it. Oh, God.
Alright, we're here. We're going to help you. Lower the ladder slowly. This is going to hurt. Okay, hold still. Ready? Now!
What's happening? What's happening to him? Get him out of here now! Get him out!
That was cool. That was 2 weeks ago. Okay.